Good morning. I've just woken up, well, just got up, been awake a little while. It's actually stopped for a minute, but it's pretty wet and miserable out there. But I was lovely and warm. My new hot water bottle worked a treat last night. So I'm getting the ferry over to Arran a bit later on today. But there's no mad rush to get there, so I'm just having some coffee, this giant mug, and then I'll sort of get packed up, maybe get a bit of food first, and hope that I can get out of this lay-by without getting stuck. I think, hopefully, the front wheels are close enough to the road. We'll see how we get on. Anyway, more to come. Okay, I'm off. I'm just driving down this tiny single-track road away from where I stayed last night. I think the idea is to go down to Newton Stewart to pick up a few supplies, what have you, and then head on up the coast to Ardrossan in time for the ferry. So we'll pick it up in a bit. So behind me on the hill there is Murray's Monument, which was erected to or for a guy called Alexander Murray, who was a local shepherd's boy around here in Galloway, who sort of taught himself languages, became a professor of linguistics, became a minister, knew Robert Burns, all kinds of things like that. And so they built this big monument to him, this big obelisk up on this hill. In recent years, it has become the sometime home of the Dark Outside Festival, call it that. Dark Outside is basically a 24-hour radio station that broadcasts music that no one's ever heard before to a radius of a mile or two. And I came up here a few years ago because I heard a piece being played, and whilst I was up at the top in the middle of the night, the transmitter blew. And luckily I had one of those tiny little car FM transmitters, so we kept it going for a little while till they got a spare transmitter, although the only people who could listen were those in very close proximity. Also just by here, behind me, you can see this waterfall cascading here. They broadcast some films, or showed some films on the other side of there, and I'd done the soundtrack to one of the films, so it's quite weird to come back here today with nobody about, but you know, it's interesting. Okay, this is Newton Stewart. Looks like a lovely little place. Were it not such miserable weather, I would possibly stop here and have a look around. It looks quite nice. Maybe I'll come one day. I'm now on the road to Girvan, I think. It's about 20 miles away now. I'm trying to do most of the navigation on this trip using the road atlas instead of using the sat-nav, because I've become really reliant on sat-nav over the years, as I think a lot of people have, and although I've always said it, I've never put my money where my mouth is, and you miss so much just following the little screen, whereas if you're looking on the map, you're seeing all sorts of the different things along the way, certainly sort of, you know, slightly off the road you're on that you might just drive past otherwise. So I'm attempting to do as much as I can using the road map. We're just coming up to a bridge over a river. I will slow down. There we go. And we are now, what's this sign? Entering South Ayrshire. So I'll drive on. I've just pulled over in Girvan because as I came down the hill into the town, I saw on the horizon on the sea Glencraig, which is that thing just above my finger. I'll try and put a better shot in now. So Glencraig is a microgranite plutonic intrusion, which basically means it's made of much harder rock than the rock around, which is why it sticks out of the ground like that. And over the years, there's been all sorts of people living there, and industry and wildlife and all kinds of things. Now it is uninhabited. The rock, I've just found out now, is perfect for making curling stones with. So that's one of the main things that happens. Until 1991, a lot of the wildlife was in trouble on there because there was a lot of rats, but they managed to get rid of those. So there's now puffins and all kinds of things in there, which is really great. It has a very long and complicated history, so Google it if you're really interested. But it's a really impressive looking thing, sticking out of the sea there. A little bit worried because of all everything that's going on. They might suddenly turn around and say that campers aren't allowed on the island or something. But they seem to let me through fine, so that's great. I love this bit, just sitting and waiting to get on the boat. It's amazing. Cool. Oh, my towels here by the way, because I used my exciting outside shower this morning, which was really good. Like half a bucket of water mixed with a kettle of water. Minutes, which is just enough to wash my hair. So fantastic. Yeah, okay, onwards. By the way, it's very windy out there, so I think this is going to be pretty interesting crossing. Okay, so I'm on the ferry. There, look at that behind me, it's amazing. We're off to the Isle of Arran. Last time I was on this boat, I was 17, and I was reminded the other day, my geology teacher said to us all before we got on, don't go to the bar, I've booked you all on as kids. So I was sort of looking forward to going to the bar, but it's shut, so I won't be. Anyway, hopefully it's not going to get much rougher than this, because so far so good. We shall see. Right, we're here. We're on the Isle of Arran. I'm on the Isle of Arran, finally. Just had to do a little bit of a frantic run around Brodick because one of my cookers ran out of gas and I needed to get some more of this stuff. But I managed to find some in the second shop because the first shop didn't have any, but they told me where the second shop was. So now I'm going to try and find somewhere to park for the night before it goes completely dark. There's a couple of options not far away, so hopefully that will be cool. So, finally made it. I guess there's been a lot of me talking and a lot of roads today and not that much to look at. Hopefully tomorrow that will change because I am now on the Isle of Arran. I found a really lovely spot to park for the night. We'll see what the weather is like tomorrow, but I will leave you with the view from the back as it is right now. See you tomorrow.